Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Simon the Watch Guy. We're going to be covering this watch in just a second. I've literally just recorded this video and I'm going to have to do it again because I got a call right in the middle. Always the way. Anyway, quick look at the box. We're going to be really quick. I know people don't like looking at the boxes, so we're not going to spend too long on this. Anyway, Seiko box. It's quite a nice presentation case it comes in. Presentation box even. Try and open this one-handed. So inside we've got kind of a nice pillow sort of texture. Really quite a nice design. Not seen that on a Seiko box before. Managed to get this off without scissors, believe it or not. This is obviously just a cardboard cutout. We've got the pillow and not much else really, just some packaging underneath that. And that is it really for the overview really of the box. Again, people don't like it, so I'm not going to waste my time or your time. I'm not going to waste your time looking at the box. But either way, it is a nice presentation box. I bought mine from Creation Watches. It does come with the worldwide guarantee, and it came with the instructions. So we're looking at the 7S26 movement, and here is the watch itself. So I've been waiting to bring this one to the channel for quite some time. This is the SNXG47K1. What's so special about this watch? Why have I waited to bring this to the channel? What is it really about this watch that interested me? Well, it's an automatic movement. It's using the 7S26 movement, which is a tried and tested. It's a good movement. It's used in a lot of the Seiko 5 models. I think if you look, when will it be? It's probably going to be last year sometime on the channel. You'll see that I did cover, I can't remember the model number. I think it was the 805K2, is it? I can't remember the model number off the top of my head. But that had the 7S26 movement. I'll be honest, guys, it's not the most accurate thing in the world, but it's trustworthy. You can depend on it. It's just going to keep going. I've heard stories of people having these movements for 5, 10, 15 years without servicing them. It's crazy. So before we get in a bit more depth about the watch itself, I'm just going to let you know, obviously we've got the round face here. We've got a 37mm case size. The thickness, let me take this off. Thickness, we're looking at 11mm. So it's a relatively thin case. Obviously, the little bit that juts out here, it's just for the movement, the actual rotor, as you can see. We'll cover that in more detail in just a minute. And again, as you've seen, because it's Seiko 5, you've got that see-through case back. It's just really is a kind of wonder to behold this thing. It's really, really nice. As you can see, analog face there, it kind of harks back to the vintage Seikos. And what I mean by that is if you look at the hands of this watch, they've kind of got those narrow hands. Now this is loomed. These actual hands are loomed. And you can't really see this very well on video, but the actual, let's see if we can focus the camera at all. At the end of the indices here, they are loomed. There are pips, so they will glow in the dark, albeit not very well. Either way, you've got the mineral crystal as well, the Seiko mineral crystal even. Luminous hands and marks, as I said, they're okay. They're not the best in the world, but the fact it's even got them, I was happy enough. I can definitely tell the time in the dark, with this thing on. So that wasn't, that's not a problem for me. It's water resistant to 30 meters, so pretty much splash proof. I actually have worn this in the shower. I wouldn't recommend it, but I did, and it was okay. Obviously, I didn't really get any water on it, so basically, if you get this watch, just be a little bit careful, guys. It's got the day date, so Tuesday the 8th of January is today's date. bracelet wise, now this is where I've got a little bit of information really for you guys. The bracelet does feel relatively cheap. I think this is where they've saved the money. But when I say cheap, it's not a bad bracelet. I seen another review and it mentioned the fold. It's got one of these what's called a fold over clasp. So if you can just see, you've got like two little hooks, and the way this works is the hooks go over this part of the watch, and if we just close it, there you go. You'll see that those hooks really hold the watch in place. Now, I seen one review which said that's a strange design. It's weird. Why would Seiko do that? But you've got to remember, guys, this is the M354 from 1979. If you look over on the back, guys, you've got the exact same design. Okay, the actual bracelet design's a bit different, but the actual fold-over clasp is exactly, I literally mean exactly the same. If you remove it, you can see the same hooks. And seriously, guys, the beauty of this, let me just quickly, I want to stay on the Seiko 5, but let me just show you the beauty of this. When I got this particular watch, the left-hand side was slightly higher than the right, but it's such a good design that what you can actually do is you can push this down, maybe push this up. Don't be crazy, don't rip them off, or you're going to wreck your watch. But the beauty of this is that if you need to adjust anything about the strap, you've got the micro adjustments here. And you can also, like I said, you can kind of, if this is a little bit pushed down or it's pushed up, you can kind of adjust them. Obviously, you don't want to do it too much. It's metal, it's brittle, because they're quite slim. But the moral of the story is that these kind of watches are just built, they're built for purpose. They really are. What else do we need to talk about with this watch? Well, like I said, I've got a worldwide guarantee. I believe that's a 2-year warranty, so hopefully I won't need to use it, but either way. I did take 2 links out. Bear in mind that these links are not much fun to get out, believe me. I spent a long time. I just want to mention one more thing as well. So on the M354 that I've just shown you, which is on the left, this is the M354 on the left, and the watch on the right, the Seiko 5. Again, even down to the fold-over clasp here, they've got the same design. They've even got the Seiko logo on each of them, which, it's fantastic. You could literally buy this watch, and in years and years to come, you could hand this down. It really is. Whether you want to keep paying to service these is up to you, but the fact is you could. And that nicely brings me on to the movement. You can see that moving in the background. It's a 21 jewel. Let me just see if you can see that there. The 7S26C, Seiko Time Corp. Let's spin that rotor around. And allegedly this has a 40-hour power reserve. 40 hours, I mean. Now, on the other Seikos I've had with this movement, I don't get anywhere near 40 hours. I think that's absolute best case scenario. But to be honest, it's good enough. It doesn't have hacking or hand winding. So what I mean, if you pull the crown completely out, it keeps the second hand keeps moving. You can't wind the watch either. So it really is dependent on your motion. But that's probably one reason why these are such reliable, robust movements. The fact that you can, see all of the movement, the fact that the movement is arguably, relatively simple as far as movements go, it just means that this thing's going to keep on ticking. The less there is, in the movement, the less there is to go wrong. And the only thing I've read about these really is, if you get to 10, 15 years without servicing, it might get, dry, there's no lubricant inside the watch, and it might literally grind itself, to kind of like an early grave, or maybe not an early grave, but it might grind itself to death. So you just need to be a little bit careful of that, guys, if you do buy one of these. But as you can see, I mean, the rotor, it literally doesn't need much movement, and it just moves around. So you know that's constantly getting wound. And finally, one other thing I want to say is that really the dial is what does it for me, guys. The actual it's really hard to kind of make this out. If I try my very best to focus on the dial, you can kind of see like a crisscross kind of pattern. You've got the 7S26 in extremely small writing at the bottom, 033A, I believe it says, and then it says A2. And it's a real looker, this watch. I've already had several compliments, and that's just in the space of a day or two. So it looks like it's worth more than it is. I paid around about, I think about £70. It's actually sold out on Creation Watches, but they did a fantastic job shipping this one out really quick.